Alright, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Other Half Brewing Company, and they are headquartered in Brooklyn, New York, and this is their Cream Get the Honey. So they're calling this one a double dry hopped Honey Oat Cream IPA that comes in at 6% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed in time of review. This can is just over 3 weeks old. So we have another Other Half beer that I have never had before. I've actually had two different variants of the double version of this one called Double Cream Get the Honey. I had their Citra and their Citra plus Nelson Sauvin variants, and I reviewed both of them on the channel. I really enjoyed both of those beers, but I never had the base Double Cream Get the Honey, and I've never had the Cream Get the Honey or any of the variants. So this is basically just the regular IPA 6%, where the double is like 8.4, 8.5, something like that. So the ingredients on this one, brewed with Mosaic hops, honey, oats, and milk sugar, aka lactose, and they have a little spiel, just basically mentions the same thing that I just read, plus tasting notes, which we'll read at the end if I remember. A lot of times I forget. So anyway, I love honey in hop forward beers, especially IPAs and double IPAs. So I really enjoyed those two double cream Get the Honey variants. So I'm hoping I enjoy this one. Plus, how do you not like the Wu-Tang reference, right? Any beer that makes a Wu-Tang reference, you can sign me up, sons. And I like the label, which says the honeycomb. I feel like the honeycomb label to me is pretty fantastic. It's hard to read the font on this beer, but I think the label's pretty fantastic. So throw this over here. Yeah, so that pours out this really light, somewhat milky, kind of yellow-orange color. Hold it up to the light. Yeah, it doesn't have like a really thick haze to it, but it's a nice haze. A finger of a really creamy off-white colored head plays the role of something that I would call a honey IPA or honey oat cream IPA. So basically what they do with the oat cream, it's usually a little bit of lactose, a bunch of oats, and in this case, they add, I believe it's New York State honey. Let's get a nose. Yeah, so the honey comes through a little bit. It's like a floral kind of, almost like a wildflower honey. But then I'm getting like big stone fruits. I'm getting peach and mango. There's a little bit of like a pineapple in here as well. Slight citrus hints, more of like a rindy grapefruit. And then there's a slight floral herbaceousness as well. It doesn't smell like it's going to be sweet. Like the one concern I have with this beer specifically is you're adding honey, and then on top of that, it's only 6%. So sometimes when you add things like that, different adjuncts at a lower ABV, a lot of times it can be just over the top in terms of the sweetness. Nothing to really back it up. And 6% too, I'm also getting like a little bit of like a crackery malt sensation. Yeah, it smells pretty good. Very crushable, I would say, is the term I would use here in terms of how it smells. Like I'm going to want to drink, this entire thing down in like 5-10 minutes, but we'll see. Anyway, let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. That's nice. That's just a nice beer. Off that first sip, I really like the aftertaste. Off that first sip, though, it's definitely not as good as I remember those double cream and Get the Honey variants being. It doesn't have the complexity. It's 6%, so you got to keep that in mind. And it's not fair to compare like a 6% beer to 8.5%, 9% beer when you're talking about, more ingredients or everything, more ABV. It's just probably going to be more flavorful in general. So it's unfair. But let's go body mouthfeel. Minus ones, higher side of light, lower side of medium, a little bit thin at 6%. The mouthfeel, though, it has a decent carbonation. I'd say like mild to moderately carbonated, but it's really smooth and creamy from the lactose, from the oats. And it's not like super soft, but it's soft enough. So I think the mouthfeel is quite nice, but the body's a little bit thin. Taste right at the forefront. Crackery malt dives underneath the palate. And then I get a little bit of like a floral honey kind of sensation. It's not like sweet. It just kind of has like a honey taste without the sweetness. And then after that, peach, apricot. Now, take that back. Peach, mango. It's stone fruit heavy to me. A little bit of pineapple. A touch of like a passion fruit as well. Just a slight like tart passion fruit. Underlying like that citrus I was talking about, more of like a pithy white grapefruit, a pithy orange. And then in the second half of the palate, that's where that floral herbaceousness hits, and this one finishes semi to full on dry. A very mild bitterness, not a lot of bitterness here, but I like that the dryness is high. And then there's this lingering slight honey sweetness on the back of the palate that kind of just rides on into the end and just kind of fades away. So I think this is really nice. Is it amazing? It is not to me. It's a 6% Honey Oat Cream IPA. It sounds better than it tastes, but this is still a pretty damn good beer. It's just, you know, thinking in my mind too, I've had a Honey Double IPA recently, Grow, which is a nomadic brewery here in the Western New York area in Geneva, New York. They did a collaboration with Underground Beer Labs out of Syracuse. They did a Honey Double IPA, and that one was really good. This is not as good as that. It's not as good as the double version, but again, I'm comparing these to the double version, so it's not as fair. But I will say this, as far as just like a Honey Oat Cream IPA goes, I'm enjoying this one. Can't pick up on the alcohol at all at 6%, so yeah, not much more to say about this one. I would say if you enjoy honey beers and honey hop forward beers, and you can get your hands on this, grab a can, see what you think. I don't know if I'd buy a 4-pack of the base. I'd definitely buy a 4-pack of the double. I think that's well worth it. But I think this is not as good as the double. Therefore, you know, they're probably within a couple bucks of one another for a 4-pack, so I'd definitely get the double. But this is still pretty good. So cream, get the honey. From Other Half, I have absolutely no issues whatsoever giving this just a straight 4 out of 5. Can't go much higher than that. Not going to go much lower. It's just a really well-made Honey Oat Cream IPA that, you know, you taste the honey. The Mosaic, I was hoping for maybe a little bit more like of a berry character or something. Really didn't get it. This was more stone fruit heavy with a little bit of pineapple, passion fruit, underlying citrus. So, oh yeah, let me read the tasting notes. It's just like basically a paragraph. It says, or like a sentence, 2 sentences. A hazy honey oat cream IPA brewed with milk sugar, aka lactose, honey, oats, and our hand-selected Mosaic hops. Notes of sweet mango, yes. Grapefruit, yes. And honey, yes. So yeah, I got all that. Price point availability. Price point on this one in my neck of the woods, this was $19.99 a 4-pack at the bottle shop I went to. I think at the brewery, they're like more like $18 a 4-pack. So, you know, you get it into the bottle shops, they go up a little bit. I think I paid just over $5 for that can. Would I buy this again at that price point? No, there's better beers for sure that I've had from them. But $18 4-pack at the brewery is not terrible. But your mileage may vary depending on where you are. Like if you're, you know, somewhere down south or in the Midwest and you guys get Other Half occasionally, this is probably going to be at least $5 a can, I would assume, if not more. So I don't know. I don't think I would pay that again, and I certainly wouldn't pay more than $5 a can to retry this one. But again, if you like honey beers and honey hop forward beers, give it a go. And availability, wherever you see Other Half, you might see this, you might not. Distro is weird. But if you get a decent selection of Other Half and it keeps rotating and you keep on getting drops, I would assume this one would show up at some point. If you don't, you're probably not going to see it. But I will safely say, being the Other Half fan that I am, I love Other Half. I've reviewed over 100 beers on the channel from them. This is probably, you know, mid-range. As the kids would say, this is a mid beer when it comes to Other Half. This is just a good, solid, enjoyable beer, but it's not going to blow your socks off. I don't think anyway. So anyway, if you've had this one before, post in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about it. Appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.